Evangelicals have replaced the Catholics as the biggest religious group when it comes to Christians, but religious group period in the United States. Now, for me, it doesn't really matter about the denomination, but are people of faith about their faith when it comes to politics, or just fealty to certain political interests? Trump is a good study in this. The first contest in 2016, the Iowa caucus, he only got like under 25% of evangelicals. Why? Because of how they measured his character. This year, he got 51% of the evangelical vote. Did he change? Certainly not for the better. So what did change? My next guest's new book breaks down why Trump is a magnet to the masses of evangelicals. Author of The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory, American Evangelicals in an Age of Extremism. Also staff writer for The Atlantic, Mr. Tim Alberta. Good to see you, bud.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us. So, are we mistaking faith, even intense, studied faith, as an overriding instinct when it comes to politics? And are people, even if they're religious, really just about issues like everybody else?
Well, look, I think we have to appreciate the fact that when we think about the evangelical movement, even though they tend to group around certain issues somewhat monolithically, we are still talking about tens of millions of people here, right? So there's a spectrum of attitudes and behaviors and motivations. And I think what I've discovered in all of my travels reporting for the book and elsewhere is just the degree to which I think religious fanaticism has now begun to sort of permeate politics. In other words, I think what we've seen, especially over the last 5, 6, 7 years, is the same sort of certainty, almost bordering on zealotry and absolutism that would have once been just reserved for religion, is now very much a part of the political identity surrounding Donald Trump and surrounding the modern Republican Party.
So explain that
he
part,
has,
because the messenger matters.
Accelerated that.
So, yeah, I want to understand that, because in your first book, American Carnage, you talked about how the GOP had surrendered to him as an agent of animus, and whatever the party was about before him, the character counts party, no more. It's about advantage against the other side, and he's the guy that the people want, so we'll go with him. Now you say that the evangelical movement has done the same thing. How? How do they get from being every word of the good book is a manifestation of the truth of Jesus to him?
Desperate times call for desperate measures, Chris. I mean, listen, and I'm not being snarky or reductive, at least not trying to do it for the sake of being reductive when I say that, but that is the argument, that is the rationale, that is the justification you will hear time and again. Conversations with prominent, high-profile faith leaders, including some who were vocally outspoken against Trump back in 2016, who now they look around, they survey the landscape, they view Christianity as under assault in this country. And it's a little bit like when George W. Bush said around the time of the bank bailouts that in order to save the free market, he first had to jettison free market principles. There's something similar at work here, where a lot of these Christian leaders say, in order to preserve Christian virtue in America, we first need to jettison Christian virtue. And they view Trump as a protector figure, even though they know he's not one of them.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.